All right. And we are a go. That's good. So I'm going to real quick just turn off my phone. Started immediately playing my playlist. All right. I don't have any viewers just immediately right yet, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of get started drawing. Today I'm going to be working on Butterscotch. So, I've been working on this project for an art exchange with my pal Do Whatever. Sorry, I didn't mean to close that down. Oh, I didn't close it down. Okay. I've been working on this art exchange with one of my mutuals. She's doing art for a webcomic that I'm going to be starting here pretty soon. And in exchange, I'm doing some fan art for her webcomic, which is currently producing its second arc, second season, that sort of thing. So I've already done these are her 5 main characters. I've already done Cowboy and Cupcake and Milkshake, just their line art and flat colors. I'm going to do the lighting last of all. So today I'm going to be doing Butterscotch, like I said. And so the first thing I'm going to do for this is to oh, cool. Hi. Almost done with your end of the exchange. It just needs some finishing touches. That's really cool. I'm really excited to see all this. Hey, Sunday. Good afternoon to you, too. And I'm going to be rotating this a little bit so that I can... there's probably an easier way to do this, but I'm just not. Right now I'm rotating this so that I can draw her a little more easily. There we go. That's going to make it easier to draw her. All right, let's see here. Okay. I'm feeling a little bit like kind of weird today. Not that I'm like feeling sick or anything. I'm just like, you know, sometimes you're just in that kind of state where you're just not really thinking correctly. You're not able to, you're not able to talk a whole lot and all that sort of thing. That's where I'm at right now. So this is probably going to be a fun stream where I'm just not talking very much. But I've got her sketch all lined up here. As you can see, her hair is pretty wild. I'm planning on keeping her hair pretty wild because it's zero gravity and everything, and she's got curly, fluffy hair anyway. But I think first thing I'm going to try to draw is the ears, so that I don't forget about them and lose them like I did with the other ones. So see here, starting here, new layer. I did a little bit of warming up today already, so my hands should be better at drawing than they were last week. But even still, I'm probably going to be relying a lot on the curve tool like I do all the time. I've developed an attachment to it, an unhealthy dependency on the curve tool. But since the ears are going to be fluffy, you know what? Actually, that's what I should be doing, because I should be working on making them fluffier. Because she's even closer to the camera than Milkshake was, so. I'm still obsessed with Severance, like I've just been thinking about Severance this whole time, but in season 2, there's a character that calls Mr. Milkshake. They call him Mr. Milkshake, so now every time I'm saying Milkshake, it's making me think of that. She's a very fluffy girl. Yes, she is. She's a very, very fluffy little girl. Why did that? Okay. Why is it that when I said it, it sounded like a little bit sexist? I don't know. I'm like, she's a very fluffy little girl. Like, I don't know. That just sounded weird coming out of my mouth like that. Nice. Thank you. Alright, let's see if that looks like a passable ear. I think that looks nice. So now the second one underneath it. Start like that. It's going to be smaller. And it should be pretty easy to just get it kind of made here. Yeah, that looks nice. Wow, that was actually a lot easier than I expected it to be. I think I'm going to make the brush a little bit smaller and just kind of close this up a little bit here. Just to give it a little bit. And I'm not going to worry about too much detailing like on the like I did on Milkshake's leg here. I meant to go back and do some more on this one and maybe on her arms because it looks weird to just have a little tiny little bit here. But maybe I'll do that some other time. But since Butterscotch's fur is like, and her hair is just like completely black, too many little details are just going to get lost in it. So, in my style of it. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave that there like that. Okay. Now, you know what I should do is make this a little more transparent so that I don't accidentally start coloring on it. So that's one thing that I do is when I have line art like this, the sketch thing, because if I have it at full opacity and then I start drawing and I start drawing on it itself, I might not notice because it's just the same kind of black lines. I don't notice that I'm on the wrong layer. But if I have this on opacity, then when I start drawing on it, it automatically is the wrong color of black, and that just immediately signals to me that I'm drawing on the sketch layer. I'm going to start with this mop of hair, get some of this taken care of. I know my process is a little backwards, that I'm like starting the hair before I do the face and eyes, but since I've already got it sketched out, I think that's pretty okay. Now it's just a matter of making sure she's furry and fluffy and got all the swoops and curls. I want it to make sure, I'm trying to make it so that it's, I'm going to stop worrying about this specific line. I like Butterscotch's design most. It's so cute. It is a very cute design. Very cute indeed. I need to make sure I'm not on top of the ear layer. Okay, I'm going to transparent this a little bit because I'm thinking that there's going to be hair that's actually going like over her ears somewhat because of the zero gravity thing. So that might, yeah, that line went a little wobbly at the end. So that might end up erasing some of this ear. Yeah. I think that's a good, oh, thank you. Yes, I think that that's a good little thing here to do. I am not wording very well today. Alright. I want to look and just check and see how I feel about that before I commit to it. Yeah, I think that looks good. It really sells the whole zero gravity thing if she's got hair floating in front of her ear. That's nice. I like that. Alright, let's continue on here. You know what? I'm going to pull up her picture real quick. I don't need this one anymore so that I can just double check. Because like I said, even though I'm doing zero gravity thing, okay, you know what? You need to... you need to be flipped so that I can look at you better. Oh, why did I do that? I think I'm just not able to like use my brain very well today. I think that's the real problem. What am I freaking doing? I'm not here today right now. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. So now we're just going to select just her. Oh, she's got a ponytail. I don't think I ever noticed that before. Don't want to pry, but I hope you have a cup of water near you. Stay hydrated. I do. I've got a cup of, I've got a bottle of water and I have a cup of coffee. So I'm going to do only the hair so that I can focus on it. But like I said with the other ones, even though I'm doing this whole zero gravity thing, I still want to preserve the basic shape of the hair. So I had done that a little bit in the sketching, so that's good, because I just didn't think about it today. I might want to fix this line, though. Well, you know what? I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna let that line exist. It's not bad. It's just not perfect. And I'm going to just keep on with the rest of it. Okay. Here we go. But yeah, the coffee is to help me probably start trying to wake my brain up a little bit, and then the water is to keep me hydrated. This one doesn't look right. There we go. That's pretty good, I think. And also, since we're doing this at a different angle, there's going to be like sort of bits of waves of hair here that are going to be, we're looking at the back of her head somewhat, as opposed to only seeing like a front view or a side view. I'm also, sorry. I'm also thinking a lot about my own comic too, and I'm starting to draw page 3. I've already done the first 2 pages, and I'm about halfway through page 3 right now, and it's really fun. It's going interestingly. I'm doing this new trick that I had recently heard about, where in order to make sure you know what, I need to remember her ponytail, because I had forgotten about that. I should say I hadn't ever really noticed it before, but now I need to remember to deal with her ponytail. That's a detail that you do not want to forget. You don't want to leave something like that out of here. But yeah, I'm doing this new trick that I read about, where in order to make sure you get your environments, that looks hideous, well proportioned and well made and everything, you start by drawing like just a floor plan, like top up, and then you take that floor plan and you warp it to being in the correct perspective, and then you just like sketch upwards from there. It's going well, actually. It's surprisingly going well. So, but I've been doing that and drawing the main character's like apartment and bedroom sort of thing. Butterscotch's ponytail is a little hard to notice because it's so low on her head with a lot of free hair on the side of her face. Yep. And that's why I have references, so that I can go back and forth and look carefully. Because when you're reading the comic, you do look at the details. You're like, oh, that's so cool. The art on the wall is telling this little story. I heard of that background drawing hack. I've been trying to use it myself. Yeah, it's working out pretty well for me so far. But yeah, so like, when you're reading the webcomic, of course I do pay attention to the details, but at the same time, there is some stuff you miss because you're not really thinking, I should make sure to pay careful attention to the back of the main character's head, you know? You look at the wall art, you look at the fun things like that, but you don't always notice the tiny little details about every character. So having these references is just really helpful. That's going to be covered by her chin, so that's good. Alright, let's see. Let's take a quick... Wait. Oh, I did not mean to be drawing this way up here. I meant to be drawing it down on this layer. Cool. I just needed to double check and make sure that I wasn't accidentally stealing something from some other layer. Alright. I think that looks kind of nice and fluffy, but I think I need to change this line here. This is not a good line for what I'm trying to do. I've also been just collecting like a lot of different references to make her house feel lived in, like there's stuff going on in it. Like I wanted her to have like a laundry basket in her bedroom, so then I just like Googled laundry baskets like for sale, and I found this like really cheap one that had a whole lot of like pictures in the like stock images to show you what you were buying. And that was pretty good. So I was like, oh yeah, that's good, because she doesn't make a lot of money either. So that tells us something about her character, is that she is this just like cheap laundry basket you would get at a box chain grocery store. And then since it had a lot of different angles, I'm able to sort of transform it using the warp tool into being something that I can change and do what I want with. So that was nice. I'm also planning on, I'm going to make it so that she's a bit of a geek. I'm going to give her a lot of posters of things that I like, but instead of just copy pasting posters on the internet, oh, you know what, I need to make sure, am I on a new layer? Yes, I am. Instead of just like copy and pasting posters from the internet, I'm going to be like drawing my own versions of them that are not entirely accurate. Like with characters that look like they're from the thing, but aren't really, if that makes sense. I'm going to give her a poster for my favorite video game, The World Ends With You, except the version that she plays is going to be called something like The World Exists When You See It. just little things like that. So that it's not that I'm using the actual images of these games or anything like that. It's just that I'm making it so that she has similar tastes and fictionalized versions of things that she'll play. I noticed that it's a very thick ponytail, so I'm kind of trying to draw it pretty thick here in the back. That makes sense. I love parody posters in shows and stuff. Yeah, it's always so fun. It's just a good time. Like, so here's the thing. I am glad that the Owl House exists, because it was, a really important TV show and a lot of people really loved it. I personally never really got all that invested in it. It just wasn't, I don't know, it just wasn't really my thing, I think. Which is weird, because I expected it to be. A lot of it is stuff that I like, I just didn't really get into it myself. But one thing that I remember is that I saw a screenshot that she has like a Soul Eater poster in her bedroom, except it's not Soul Eater, it's a parody poster. And I really love that. Soul Eater was like one of the first animes that I ever actually saw. So it's fun that she also likes Soul Eater. And like Maka is such a good character. I love that character. I think I messed up a little bit here on some of these lines here. Like, I did not mean to make this one cross over like this. So that's good. I need to get rid of that. I think this is pretty fine for just a bit of a thick ponytail in the back of her head there that's like affected by the zero gravity thing. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just put a little tiny thing right here, as if it's like coming out from the other side. You can't quite see it very well, but it's there. It looks kind of more like a bun than anything else, but you know what? I think that it's visible what it's supposed to be. And at the angle that she's in, it wouldn't be super long anyway. Alright, and I think I'm gonna call that good. So now I gotta clean it up. I'm gonna just do a little transparency so that I can tell it apart from the rest of this black that's in front of her. And I'm gonna merge some of these down. Where is the other line here? Where is this? Did I put that on the wrong layer? Yep, I did. Yes, I did. There we go. Alright, now to do this side of her head. A new layer. Kind of like that. To give it a little bit of a curl thing going on. And to differentiate it from this one, I'm gonna probably go do something like this just to give it a little bit of shape. And to kind of introduce a sort of a part to her hair. Not quite. Oh, that's also not quite. I think maybe I'll start doing this one here. And then I'll come up and do something like that. That also doesn't actually look very good. Her head needs to be a little rounder over here. Ah, didn't mean to go that far. Then I'll go like this. And that's going to be tucked behind her ear. That looks a little better. Put something here just to give it a little bit more just the fluffy, messy, wild thing going on. I'm gonna draw her ear. Since this one is kind of hidden, oh, I need to go a little bit smaller. Since this one is a bit of a hidden thing, I'm gonna go like this. So there's a little bit of hair in front of it. And then just draw the ear. Like that. It doesn't need to be that exaggeratedly fluffy. That's better. This is just like poking out a little bit from behind her head there. That way you can kind of tell that there is an ear there, but you're only seeing the tip of it. I'll probably do a little bit here. The smaller lower ear is behind that. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I no longer need this thing. I'll have this around for when I need to see the rest of her design. Going back down here. And finishing up with a bit more hair down here. I think that's gonna do it. So, erasing just this little bit here. Yeah, I think that looks nice and fluffy, and the lines maybe aren't they're maybe a little bit messier than I would like, but it's going to all be shaded in black, so that's gonna make it it's gonna kind of blend it all in. If I could speak correctly today. Alright, so for the face I am going to use the curve tool. Wait, first I'm gonna merge all this down. For her face, I am going to use the curve tool because it's important that the face be smooth, as opposed to the hair can be a little bit different because it's hair. It's not going to be as important. Gonna close that up a little bit. Maybe not that much. Messy is the name of the game with Butterscotch's hair. Yep. Gonna just do a little bit of closing up here to kind of make it so you see the shape of the forehead under the fluffy hair. Same here, just kind of close that up a little bit. A comb would get lost in there. When we were kids, we all had pretty messy hair. Except, like, okay, we had messy hair most of the time, but when we would go out in public, my mom would fix our hair very thoroughly. Do like top knots and that sort of thing, and a lot of hairspray so that our hair would stay nice and neat. My friends used to tease me. They would be like, your hair is so crunchy all the time. You come and talk to us and your hair is just like crunching like plastic. And I'm like, yep, it does that. So I wanted to do just this part here. Something's not quite looking right for me. I think I made this line a little bit too, I made this line prematurely. This did not need to be quite as accentuated here. There, that just looks a little better. Okay. I think that's a pretty good face shape. So now for the eyes. Alright. I'm gonna do the same thing I did with Milkshake. I'm gonna draw the eyes the human way that I always draw them, and then I'm going to just color the irises a little bit differently. I almost feel like having this sketch of these eyes here is gonna throw me off. I think I need to just figure out what I'm doing myself here. This is gonna be real fun for you guys to watch me just drawing eyes over and over again for a little bit until I find a good one. Because I think what I have to do, I think I have to draw a nose, and I'll just have to erase the nose later, because a lot of where I figure out where to put my lines and everything is based on the face shape, and Butterscotch doesn't exactly have a traditional face shape. And then something like that, maybe. Yikes, I'm not doing quite what I need to be doing here. There, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna move it a little bit, delete the nose. I think that actually looks pretty nice. Maybe move the eyes a little bit. I didn't mean to move that one. Move the eye a little bit here. Because her face is at a pretty weird angle, because she's like upside down, but she's looking at Danny. Which reminds me, I need to be careful about how I place her eyes, because I want them to be locked with Danny, not looking over this way. Alright. I'm going to erase some of this so that it doesn't influence the way I'm shaping my eyes, but I need her to be looking this way. So I'm going to just draw this. There. That is going to make it easy for me to tell where I want her eye line to look. She's looking that way. I'm gonna go a bit smaller on the brush. 2.5 is probably good. Maybe zoom in a little bit so I can really just do this the way I want to. Oh, wrong layer. Okay. That's fine, I wasn't sold on that line anyway. I want it to be bigger because she's like wide-eyed whimsy kind of character. I think I kind of want this second one to be moved a little bit. It's not quite where I want it. That looks better. But now it's a little bit too narrow, I think. So I'm going to do this one again. And now it's a little bit crooked. Third time's the charm. But actually, you know what? I also don't want it to intersect with this hair here. So maybe if I actually do go a little bit lower. Would that look all right? Yes, it would, I think. Cool. Oh, wrong layer. Honestly, the first half of that line was good, but this one, I should have stopped at this little break point here. Yeah, I think that's pretty okay. Maybe the other way so that the lighting is a little bit on the other side. Not sure how. I'm not sure which way I want this to be facing. Maybe just something a little bit like this. I definitely don't want to add too much detail to the line work of these eyes because I want the colors to really show. Even though, I mean, it doesn't really matter because these are just going to be black and the color is supposed to be in this area. Which reminds me, I need to make my brush even smaller and close up these eyes so that I can have ease of coloring. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of detailing just because it just makes it look better. I'm trying to come up with conversation material regarding the drawing. What do you think will be the most difficult part about working on Butterscotch's design? I'm not really sure. Honestly, I've been having trouble with all of the Dulcian's anatomy and everything, but I did kind of like work it out already with Milkshake and Cupcake, so hopefully it'll be easier for her. Right now she's looking kind of freaky. She doesn't look like she's just a cute little girl having fun. She looks like she's giving somebody a death glare. So, alright, first I'm going to get rid of this. I think with Butterscotch, I'm not sure what will be the hardest part of her design. I think, where was that? Where? Here we go. Wrong thing. I think probably for her, the hardest part for me will just be trying to do it in a timely fashion. Because the last few weeks that I did this, I spent way longer on these pieces than I had meant to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to 3 might work. Wrong layer. I'm going to kind of cut through this with hopefully some good smile lines here. And I'm going to see if that makes her look a little less creepy. This was one thing that I was a little bit afraid of. Is because I was like, drawing in this new style, or drawing this alien creature in my style, am I going to be able to make them look cute, or will they just look creepy in my art style? I think that looks better. I kind of feel like this eye is not correctly placed. Without the nose, it kind of just makes it look like it's in the wrong place, as opposed to having her head be angled. It doesn't look like her head is correctly angled. It just looks like I drew it weird. That might help. Yeah, I think that looks a little better. Alright, so now I'm going to get it out of her hair. That's nice. Eyebrows. That'll probably help make it less creepy looking. Also, though, I'm kind of noticing I want there to be a little bit more of a peak here in this hairline. That just looks a little better, I think. Okay, so eyebrows. Doing the same thing that I did last time. That's too thick. Even that's fine, that's fine. Where I'm gonna draw the eyebrow. And once I get it right, I'm actually not going to do the whole erase the inside part of it and that sort of thing this time, because since the character is her face and hair is completely black, it would just get lost if I tried to do more detailing on it. But since I'm not going to be doing that, maybe I should make it a little thinner. So let's try 4. Because we don't want her to look like she's got these huge Bushman eyebrows. Actually, I don't know what that means. I shouldn't say that. I was just quoting Princess Diaries. I'm trying to make her look pleasantly surprised, but it is just looking kind of like, it is kind of just looking like she's trying to, I don't know, shoot somebody with laser eyes. That's just the way that she's looking in this art style right now, and I need to figure out how to make her look more cute and less murderous. I think that one looks okay. Let me try moving it, seeing if it looks better in a different angle or a different position. Maybe I will go ahead and just kind of cheat this one a little bit. Since it's an eyebrow, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit fuzzy. Especially since it's going to be blended in pretty well with the rest of her, so yeah, I think that looks okay. I think that looks okay. So now I'm going to merge all of this stuff down. If Butterscotch had laser eyes, she would use them. Probably not on Danny, though. Yeah, probably not. She's the kind of character that if she was dangerous, it's the type where she would just be like so happy-go-lucky dangerous. She'd be the one to like kill somebody with a bright smile if, you know, if she had a mouth. Sorry, I was taking a sip of my coffee there. Alright, I'm probably going to do this shoulder and arm next because just to get the perspective right, I like to do the things that are in front before I start doing the things that are behind them. So, let's see here. I don't know if I want any thicker line weight than this. Yeah, that looks okay. Well, I don't know, maybe I'll try 5. I'm going to see what a 5 line weight looks like here. Alright, let's split the differences. 4.5. I think that looks good. Alright, I'm going to start by making that a little bit invisible just so that I can see the shape of the shoulder here. It doesn't need to be that pronounced. So I'll start here. Kind of go into the underarm area and then do the shoulder. Does that look proportionately accurate? It does not. That looks a little better, I think. And then since these are closed, I don't need to worry about making it too smooth because it's wrinkles. And also this part's behind the ear anyway. I need to make sure I get the... Wait, I need to make sure I'm having the perspective here right. Because I think that when I had first made the pose, it's like she's holding her arm backwards a little bit, but also like her elbow's behind her, but her fist isn't. I'm not sure how I'm going to get that across very well in perspective. I think it should be pretty easy. I need to just make sure that it's not super pronounced. It can't be super curved. It just needs to be a little bit. Just a little bit curved here. That's going to be the bend of her arm. Yeah. I'm not sure. I think this looks too ballooned up. It's important that her shoulders, the sleeve here, be thick and balloonish, but not this much. So just gonna thin that out a little bit there. I think that looks better. Yeah, okay, that looks better. So now I'm gonna come in through here, and actually I'm gonna make this one the one that's a little more invisible, and this one is thicker, so that I can make sure I'm erasing the right lines. So here, some over here. Sorry. I don't know. Yeah, okay, that's good. I want that. Alright, and then this part here. This looks really bad. I think what I have to do here is just kind of extend the ear out a little bit. Just to make it very clear that this is ear, and not that I just didn't do the sleeve lines correctly. Just needs to be a little bit farther out and clear against her shoulder that it's part of her ear. That still doesn't look quite right, but you know what? I'll be able to take care of the rest of that in shading, I think. Maybe I just need to kind of close this bit up here. Yeah, because that makes it look a little bit less flat and a little bit more curved. Okay. Alright, I think that's okay. So now I'm going to do this arm. And it's going to be pretty easy, I think. Just because I have done the other arms now on Cupcake, and then again on Milkshake specifically. So it got me a little bit of practice, a little bit of perspective on perspective. And I think that the lines that I did here in this rough sketch are actually pretty good already. Like with Milkshake, I had to reconceptualize some of the basic shapes I had given her and kind of just figure out a new way to draw her hand and everything. I think this already looks like a fine enough hand. Oh, doing that backwards. I also need to remember that since this character is going to have black fur, I do need to make the fur a little bit more pronounced in the lining. Otherwise, it's just going to look too smooth. With Milkshake, who had that paler fur, just having the line art be a bit rough is good enough for the fur. But this has to actually be a little bit more exaggerated so that it will be easily seen even when it's all shaded. Alright, let's see. What's your favorite scene with Butterscotch? I don't know. I'm trying to remember. A lot of, with Butterscotch, a lot of what makes her appealing is kind of just like the things that she does, like with Danny, and just kind of being there with him, sort of. I think I like the scene where Cowboy and Danny wake her up so that she can see the solar system when they're coming in to Earth's to Earth. That's a good one. I don't want to get too lost in the details because most of these details will be lost anyway, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it here. Call that good. Okay. Now to do with this part of it. Alright, let's see here. Wow, that line just went right where it needed to be. That's good. With these, I'm trying to make it look like they're, you know, sort of like folded into a fist. Those just fell right into place. This is a really good session. I don't know what's going on here. I wish I could draw this fast and this well most of the time. Most of the time my drawing ends up the way that it did last week when I was just starting everything over and over again because I just could not make Milkshake look right. Butterscotch is just happening. Yeah, that looks fine. Alright, now to do her upper torso. So I'm going to go back to 4.5. And I'm going to start just shaping this out. I'm trying to make it so that I'm actually, if my line is too smooth, I start over. But also if it's not smooth enough, I start over. Because I need it to be just kind of a little bit wrinkled. Yeah, I think that's good. So I'm going to maybe go in like this. Because she's like sort of arching her back a little bit because she's upside down. She's not really sure how this is working out. She doesn't really know exactly how to make herself go right side up, but she wants to look at Danny, so she's kind of just hanging around. Alright, so this is the belt, so I'm going to use the curve tool. Wait, is there a belt there? Why did I draw a belt there? Let me just double check her. Yeah, okay, there is a belt there. Awesome. I just wanted to make sure that I was remembering that detail right. I'm going to fix this tiny little bit here, close this up. Oh, I'm on the wrong tool still. Why are you not letting me do this? Okay. That's good. So now I'm just going to do a little bit of wrinkling in here. Like this is all like tucked into the belt. I'm not quite getting the line exactly where I want it to go. I think that's because I have it down too small. Alright, so that's good there. I don't want to do too much of this, but just a little bit to sort of sell the idea that this is like, you know, a little girl. Little children are not always super good about always looking presentable all the time. So having there be just kind of like this little bit of like wrinkling and everything pulling into her belt, I think that just makes it look cute. Erasing some of those lines there. Closing this up. Not supposed to be. I try to make the corners all a little bit not so sharp. Placing that there so it doesn't end up on the face. I'm gonna do the zipper here. Start with just a bit of a line for it. Yeah, that's good. And then just following along the line, just to give it this kind of more bold appearance, to make it real clear that it's like a zipper, and to give it some dimension. I noticed that people tend to not notice the difference between Danny and Butterscotch's translation pins. When you get to that part, the moon is a half moon for her. Okay, yeah. I was intending to make sure that I checked before I did the moon thing. Yeah, see, yeah. But I appreciate the heads up on that so that I wouldn't accidentally just draw something completely random and completely wrong. Let's see if that zipper looks like it's in a good position. I almost feel like no. I feel like it needs to be a little bit closer under her chin here. Okay, that looks better. But since I had to transform it, and this paint program does not do transformation really well, I'm going to start over on this. Why am I getting the curve tool out? I don't need the curve tool for this. I'm starting to try to go faster, and I'm like, that's gonna ruin. I need to go nice and slow and steady, and get my steady hand going here. I think it's kind of funny how common of a mistake it is because it's a small detail with very important symbolism for later in the story. Yeah, that's how it goes. Small details with important symbolism. Although actually I was a little bit like, I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't say curious as much as just noticed, and so I'm just kind of like waiting to see where it goes. I had thought it was interesting that like Danny and Butterscotch, I thought you sketched the pin as a crescent moon, but I think you actually just drew it as a circle. Sorry for the assumption. No, it's fine. I appreciate the advice. I think I did just draw it as like a couple of circles to just get the, like, I just kind of went like this to get the idea that there was a circle there in the rough sketch. But no, I really do, well, I really do appreciate the heads up and the help and everything. But yeah, no, I had been thinking about the fact that Danny and Butterscotch have translation pins that are like, it looks like they were made by maybe the Crucians. I do not know how to pronounce the names of these aliens. I'm so bad at pronouncing anything that I'm just calling them like Dulcians and Crucians, and I'm just hoping that that's right. But I noticed that they looked themed after the aliens, which didn't make sense to me. Unless it's like I said, if they're like, if they were made by those, by them. I think that's looking pretty good. I know you said that you wanted to know how I was going to do like the 80s carpet patterns and everything. I'm actually not going to be doing those in line art. I have a trick that I'm going to be doing for those that has to do with the coloring aspect. So right now I'm just going to be focused on the shapes, and then I'll do the patterns when I'm doing the coloring. Alright, so now I'm going to do her other arm. First I'm going to merge these down. Make sure I don't have any crossing lines. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm good. Alright, new layer for her arm. Take a drink of water. Now this arm, I think, is probably going to give me a little more trouble because she's supposed to be holding Danny's hand, and I did not bother actually trying to make that look good when I sketched it. I was just like, yeah, and then they're like holding hands or something. So, I'm thinking probably what I'll do is I'm just going to draw her hand kind of as normal. Maybe like with her palm up or something, and then when I go and draw Danny, I'm going to just sort of draw it over her, so that it'll look more like he's holding her hand. I think that's a good plan for how to do that. But that also means that I need to be careful of how I do the bend here in their shoulder. I mean, in the elbow, like I did over here. I think maybe I should start with that, actually. Because that'll make it easier for me to figure out what it is that I need to be doing as far as the perspective and the shapes go. I think the line weight is too big for this. That'll probably be better. Okay. So I'm going to go like this, maybe. And then maybe just a little bit like that. And then I'll just kind of clean this up a little bit. I'm not sure. It doesn't quite look right on its own, but it's not going to be on its own. The arm is going to be in it. And it looks about the same as that. It just looks a little squashed, so that's good. That's fine. So I'm going to add some of this here. The thing that is squashing it. And that here. A little bit of something there. Like it's kind of coming out over her arm a little bit. I'm gazing at the line art, or I'm glazing at the line art so good. Thank you. It is turning out pretty good. A lot easier. And this looks like a balloon again. I need to narrow it down a little bit. Maybe I don't need to have this here going like this. I love how you're doing the folds. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, I don't like to assume that I'm doing really good with something. I don't know. In my experience, people who say that they're good at something, they're not always correct. So I just always try not to say that I'm good at anything at all. But I do actually think that I do pretty good at clothes. Clothes and hair are my strong points. Although, I love the look of these, like, you know, puffy bell sleeves. I never can figure out how to draw them. I've been trying to figure out how to draw these things for years, and I can never figure out. So I'm sitting here, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Is because I'm sitting here saying, I'm usually pretty good at clothes. And then immediately I'm like, I've never been able to figure out how to do this, even though I always try, because it's my favorite thing. I try all the time. I've spent years trying to figure out how to draw sleeves like this. But I'm good at clothes, you know. No. No, not that. It needs to be a little bit behind here, but not quite as bad as that. I think that's okay. I think that's okay. I've got a One OK Rock song stuck in my head. The sleeve just doesn't, the shoulder doesn't look right. It looks like it's just like pinned to her arm here. Alright, alright. Let's see how I'm gonna do this. I think I need to start out here. Like the shoulder is right around here. And then maybe I can kind of just come out like that. You're not good, you're the greatest. Well, see, I don't want to get a big head. In writing, at least to me. Well, thank you. Alright. I don't like that. That might be a... It's not quite right. I think maybe the shoulder needs to be a little bit farther in, even though it does need to be behind her. It's not, doesn't need to be all the way up there. It can be a little bit lower down. I think I can look back at my old concept art and find Butterscotch with much longer sleeves, but I thought they made her look too young when she's supposed to be at least 11. So I made them short. That makes sense. I did think that she was like 10, but that's just because, like, you don't really have a reference point with aliens. There's no consensus of what an 11-year-old alien is supposed to look like versus a 10-year-old alien, or versus like a 6-year-old alien. It's like there's not a whole lot of things to compare it to. Okay, okay. That actually looks pretty good, I think. Okay. I can work with this. This is good. So I'm going to erase that here. I'm going to kind of fix this hair up a little bit like that. I think that looks okay. Alright. So I'm going to merge. Oh, I need to take care of this line before I merge it down. Alright, now merging. And then the new layer for the arm. I do kind of want to resketch this a little bit though, since I'm deciding to make it so that it's like the palm of her hand. I need to actually put that into plan, that it's her palm. That thumb is too big. Alright, now I'm going to just transform this a little bit. Put it in the right spot. I think it needs to be a little bit more like that. A little bit less like that. A little more like that. Now I'm going to erase the stuff underneath it. So that it doesn't influence the way that I'm doing this. Alright. Now I've got the new updated sketch layer. So coming back here. New layer. I think I'm going to start with the hand and then I'm going to go back and put it into the arm. That just feels like a good idea to me. So I'm going to do 2 on this. And I'll start here with the thumb just to see if I can do this very well. And kind of come up here into the palm. See how that looks. If that actually looks like it's a good shape. Yeah, I think that's okay. I'm going to just put a little something in here just to really enunciate the fold of her palm. And then I'm going to start over here, honestly. No. It does need to be a little bit wider because it doesn't have to look like a full-on, like, human proportioned hand. Her arm does get a little bigger as it goes on, so it's okay if this is a little bit farther out. In fact, I do think I need it to be farther out. Now I'm going to do the claw things. I'm going to start here actually so that I can make sure that they are in front of each other. But I also don't want to make them too big because she's young and they're not fully grown yet. I think I'm going to cheat. I'm going to get my reliance on this curve tool like I always do. It just makes it so much easier. And like, why work hard when you can work smart? Alright, new layer. Starting here so that the lines are good. My pen is starting to really go out. Sometimes it just does not even register anymore. I desperately need a new drawing pad. But there are a lot of other things that I need more that I would focus my money on before I started worrying about getting a new drawing pad. Alright. So now I'm going to do things like erasing the lines here, erasing the lines here, and really kind of accentuating this to make sure that it's clear which one is in front. Now I'm going to merge it down. So this one I'm erasing the line here. Using the line here. Really accentuating this one. Nice and bold. And merge it down. Erasing the line here. Erasing the line here. Making sure there's no line here. I think that's pretty good. If you can lessen the workload while still making things look good, why hesitate? I just got a new book brush that made it beautiful for the library, so much easier to draw. Yeah. Really, it's true. If you have resources, if you have good tools, you can use those tools. All right, let's see how that hand is looking. I think that looks like a pretty decent alien palm. I kind of want to thicken this line here, though. It's just looking a little bit thin to me. It needs to match the rest of it. Cool. And then I'll just, when I'm doing Danny, I'll just kind of draw his hand in whatever way naturally fits on this. Alright, let's see here. I don't know if I want it to be exactly in this position, because I do need the arm to be able to go where it needs to go. So maybe I'll just move it down like right about here. And then I'll draw the arm there. Alright. Now I will just connect these. Oh, you know what? I want to do this on a new layer so that I don't mess up this hand. Maybe I'll start with the arm. I think that looks like a nice arm. So then, with this, I'm thinking I might kind of go like that a little bit. And then I'm just going to draw a little bit of just lineage here to make it clear that the arm is coming out of this thing here. Might add a little bit of something here. Just to kind of shape this better. Make it a little more clear what's going on, even though it's an alien thing. See, it's not looking the exact way that I wanted it to. But I think it's okay. Maybe I need to move this line here. Okay. Okay, let's try something here. There we go. This might need to be a little bit down farther like that. Okay, I think that actually does look a lot better. And since it's going to be covered in black, it's going to be okay. I think that looks pretty good. Alright, now to do the rest of this, gonna go back to 4 on the lines and do the belt. Okay. Now to just sort of close this up. Give it a little bit of dimension here. Same on this end. With this end, it's not going to have quite the same kind of dimension because it's kind of disappearing around our stomach under this area, so. And then I'm trying to remember if there was like any kind of buckle on it or if it's just, nope, just a plain black belt. Cool, cool, cool. That makes my job easier. Cool. that's the belt. Now for taking a sip of coffee. Alright, now for the trousers. Again, with this, I didn't quite shape it out maybe as well as I should have, because I was just sketching the lines. So let's see here, going back to 4. I'll start with this leg because I feel like that's just it. The leg was done very well, I think, so I'm gonna start here. Make sure it's nice and wrinkled, which is good because I just have shaky hands. So start here, do the knee, and then just come up like this, and that's a pretty good trouser leg. Now I'll do the same over here. The knee right in there. That was not a good one. Not quite getting these lines right. There, that's better. All right. Now to try to fill in this area here. I do think this is an area that I could stand to work on, but I'm going to call that good and just focus on getting the patterning right now. Okay, so this one's pretty easy, I think. Maybe not. And then over here. That's not quite right. And then the zipper. Actually, before the zipper, one of these things has 2 lines on it. Where is this? Okay, here we go. It's just that I am going to never be able to not see that tiny little line there. Alright, zipper. Going back to 2 and just sort of like trying to freehand it here. And that is not what it should be. See, I did not help myself at all with this. That's a better position, I think. And then I'm just going to kind of bold that out. I think that's good. It's just a good way to do it. Oh, there we go. And this one. No, I thought, oh, here we go. It's this one. Just erasing these lines here. All right. Merge it all down. And now, the last little bits here. I'm going to start with this one, I think, because I need to finish out the trouser anyway. Let's do 3.5 on this. I'm just going to kind of come out like that. That's nice, and then kind of come out like this for that part of it. This is going to be a difficult leg, so actually I'm going to come back and do this one first. Close that. Can come out like that, and then push it back in just a little bit in that direction. All right, I think that's not good. All right, so if the leg's gonna be coming out here like this, then I need to have that be like that, and then fade into the back here. That'll have to be good enough. All right, now for this leg. I have it so that the knee is kind of in here, like that. So that's the knee. And then we have the kind of back sort of thing going on here, where it kind of curves into being the leg, like a goat or something like that. And then I'm just going to follow the line I left for myself here, because the perspective I think is okay on this one. And then it comes around like that. And then we have the rest of the leg going behind, tucked under, behind the knee. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. So I'm just going to give myself a little bit of lining here so that I can remember this perspective when I'm doing the shading. I don't think I needed that there. That's good. Now for the hoof. Starting out, coming out like this. Just following the line. I'm gonna use my cheat. A lot of times with some of these things, I will start by trying to freehand, and then if I have to erase twice or 3 times, then I'll just be like, you know what? Why am I doing this? Why am I torturing myself with this? So I'm just going to do that, kind of bold that out a little bit. Now I'm going to do the 3-toe separation thing instead of the just cloven hoof that I had planned at first. So one there, and one about maybe there. That's good. Okay. And then it's farther away, so I don't necessarily need to go too deep into this, but I am going to just kind of do a little bit of this to really kind of sell the bit there. You know what, I'm going to go a little bit deeper than I need to, and then I'm just going to fix it. There, that's looking pretty nice. Okay, I'm going to close this up here. This is not quite as thick as I need it to be. Alright, let's see here. How's this looking? It's looking pretty good, I think. What website are you planning on hosting your own webcomic? Are you going to create your own? That is kind of my plan. I don't like these lines here. That is kind of my plan, is to just do like a free website like on Wix or something. But I'm also looking into Comic Fury, but I haven't really like specifically looked into it yet. To start out with, I am just thinking of doing my own website. But I got distracted by myself. What was what was I about to say? Oh yeah, I looked at things like Tafes and Webtoons, but they seemed to favor like vertical scrolling, and vertical scrolling is not really the form that I was taking in my comic. Because if you're looking for a place to host, I've done a lot of research on different sites with the help of one of my other friends, and I found some places I think you would feel at home. Yeah, if you wanted to like DM me that on Discord, we could look into it. I haven't really done a whole lot of research into it because I'm not really planning on posting mine until late May anyway, because that's when I'm going to be finished with chapter 1, and I just want to post the entire first chapter. I want to do it chapter at a time instead of page at a time, just because that works best for me. But I am planning on posting page at a time on my Ko-Fi for my Ko-Fi subscribers. So, I have one more page that I'm going to post this week for free on Ko-Fi and on Tumblr. I mean, on Discord for you guys. So, one more page. Once I'm done with page 3, I'm going to post that. But then starting next week, I'm going to be posting my pages whenever I'm done with them, but just for Ko-Fi subscribers, and everyone else is they're gonna have to wait until I have the whole chapter done and posted together in May. So yeah, I will do a little more research and look for a good hosting place the closer we get to May. For right now, I'm focused more on the actual drawing aspect. This is the leg that's going to be tricky, because the thing about it is that going by just talking about like the bone structure and everything, it's going to be coming out like this, and then it has this sort of joint here which goes down like that, and then is the foot that comes out like that. So there's going to be a real weird perspective here. I've got it all lined up, but I'm not sure if it's going to actually translate pretty well. So let's just see. Let's just give it a shot. Try it out. See what adjustments I might need to make. I feel like it's important to get the perspective across in this one. So I definitely need to really accentuate this joint here in order to make sure that the full perspective of it. Yeah, page at a time didn't work for Butterscotch either, which is why I ended up rejecting a lot of the websites I was looking into at the time. Yeah, that makes sense. My biggest concern is finding a site that will let me do like traditional page size and isn't like geared towards vertical scrolling. Because if it's a site that's geared towards vertical scrolling, then I feel like a lot of potential audience members are going to actually probably get frustrated when they click on a new comic and it is traditional sized pages. They're gonna, because most of them are going to be on that site because it's for vertical scroll, and because they know that they'll be able to read everything on their phone. Which I'm not saying you wouldn't be able to read mine on a phone, but it's not going to be as easy if you're there for vertical scroll. This is not looking good. Alright, let's see here. I kind of need to curve it like this and have it tucked in here, and maybe I'll just have to rely on shading techniques to really sell it. I might just have to accept that it's not going to look quite right when it's just line art, and I will have to accept that. And then I'll just be able to fix everything when I do actual shading. Alright, yeah, that's looking okay. And okay is what I need. Cheating. Kind of want to go a little bit behind so that it's showing, but I kind of want to go in like that. Wait, I need to make sure that I'm on a good layer. Am I on a new layer? Yes. Okay, cool. Cool. Kind of end up that line a little bit more, let it bold. I call this one bold and brash. Alright, let's see here. When I decided to post Butterscotch on Tapas, I ended up spending a lot of time transporting my pages to canvases that fit the vertical scroll format so they would fit. Message 1 out of 2. I will patiently await the next message because I'm a patient person. Except when it comes to things like not doing my lines right. Alright, I think that's fine. I think that looks good. Okay. Now going on here like that. Just giving a little bit of a nick there. The clock in my office room is very soothing to me right now. I don't know why. I'm just listening to the clicking of the clock and it's very peaceful. Oh, what have we here? Oh yeah, I know what that is. Duh. And there we go. I think that looks good enough. And then the rest of it will be handled with shading. Okay. So merge all this down. 2 out of 2. I much prefer traditional comic layouts artistically, which is why I chose that for Butterscotch instead of going for a layer that would have gotten better attention on the more popular websites. And that's the way to go, from what I've read, is to do things that do things the way you want them done, instead of focusing on doing things that are popular, which is why I decided I'm going to go with the traditional comic format for Turn Back, at least. For Turn Back and for this other project that I've already been working on for like 5 years, but it's just really, really slow going. And Turn Back is a lot faster and a lot easier to do with way fewer characters. So let's see here. I'm going to go like that. This tail is too big. Why did I pick such a thick tail? Alright, cool. I'm going to go like that, and then I'm going to make sure I'm on the right layer. I'm going to kind of, I'm going to go like this. Up here, through the pony maybe. And then I can pretend that the bend happened here. No, I don't like that. So it came up this way, and then I'm going to go add a curvature down like that, so that it looks like it curved behind her arm, maybe. My pen is freaking out. It's not doing what I need it to do. This drawing pad is going to be the death of me. Although I have seen webcomics that are absolutely gorgeous in vertical format that use the layout to their artistic advantage. That's true. Some of them can be really pretty, but it's just not the one that I wanted for my comics. So I'm going to be doing traditional. Alright, I'm going to taper this off. Not that way. Got too much off there. Broccoli soup comes to mind. I haven't read that one. My ultimate goal with my comic is to eventually print. So I made sure to choose page sizes and dimension sizes that I could print in a physical copy. But that is years down the road. That is me planning ahead for the absolute best case scenario in case I ever get there. As opposed to me actually thinking this is definitely gonna happen one day. Just watch, just wait, it'll happen. No, it might not happen. But that's what I'm drawing it towards, is hoping that one day I can print it. It's got to be one of my favorites of all time. Yeah. Let's see here. Just gonna do this tail here. this time I'm gonna start by doing the actual like the bits of the tail here, and then I can erase this and then make it how I need it to be made. I'm not very good at drawing tails. Even though he's one of my favorite Sonic characters. I was kidding. Bad jokes are bad. I think that's good, actually. It's pretty good. I like this half of it, but I think that the line that I started it on is not very good. There, that's much better. Okay. Now I'm going to do this part of it. It didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it to. I think it's because this line needs to be a little bit different. That just didn't need to be there. All right. That's better. And this line also doesn't need to be here like this. My brush is doing, my tablet is doing this thing where if I try to draw like a continuous line, oh, well, that time it did it. But it's been doing this thing where it just like randomly stops halfway through a continuous line and then it'll just not do it. So that's been driving me crazy all day. But then as soon as I try to start demonstrating it, it's like it doesn't want it up. It doesn't want it to show you guys. It wants you guys to think I'm crazy. Or like lying or something. Okay, so those are looking pretty good. So now I'm going to come through here. 2.3 is a little big. I think I'm just going to go down to 2 and do the tail. That's too thick. Doing the bends of the tail here. We get pretty close to the finish line on this one. I feel like joining the big webcomic websites can be really intimidating because everything you see is the same clean anime-esque art style. It starts to feel more produced than passionate. That makes sense. That's one thing I'm hoping that my art doesn't fall into because I want it to look right. I want it to look clean. I want it to look nice and all of that sort of thing. But at the same time, I do know that it's not going to kill anything if it actually does look hand drawn. That's where my perfectionism comes in, is because I want it to look professionally produced. I'm trying very hard to make it look as professional as I possibly can. But I'm also trying to, of course, preserve my own art style and make it look like it's mine, like I did it. But when you look at more things outside of the mainstream websites, you can find really fun and unique stories and art. I think your stuff falls into that category. Thank you. Alright. I don't know if I like where this line placement is here. I might actually transform this a little bit. Your art is very anime inspired, obviously, but we can tell it's you who did it, and it doesn't easily fall into the same boring style as Reincarnated and Out for Vengeance story number 183. That is fair. None of my characters are reincarnated or out for vengeance. That's good there. So now I'm going to do the last bit of fur. I think that the base of it needs to be a little bit bigger here. This line is not where it needs to be. That's better. Okay. I think the line art is just about done. So just delete this. Just double check, make sure that everything looks good. And merge it all down. So now the line art for Butterscotch is done. I mentioned that plotline because it seems like the modern era's most popular story trope. It's usually just Korean webtoons. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, coloring. So I'm just going to mainly color pick for this. That's not the one that I wanted to move. It's interesting because, like, her color scheme is one of the few that, like, just doesn't really match the other ones. Everyone else, they have, like, you know, the reds, the whites, the pinks, the blacks. It's all very, very cohesive. But then she's, like, randomly got this bright, bright purple, and then, you know, orange, and like, bright cyan, and then also pale blue, and this, like, minty green color. Her design doesn't really match the other ones, and it's just really interesting to me. Okay. I need to actually keep that up so that I know that I'm putting it in the exact right places. Alright. Let me make sure my tolerance is up a little bit. So it's this leg, and this piece, and this arm, and this thing. Okay. And then I make sure that everything got nice and covered. It's not any little tiny pieces like that. Or that. Okay, that's good. I'm going to drop from the white grayish thing that I have for everyone else. That it's going to be white once I do the shading and lighting and everything, but just for the base coat, it's good to have it be a little bit of a gray color. And then I'm going to make a new layer underneath it, probably in some green things, so that I can make sure that I have all of the little pieces of white completely filled in. Maybe a darker green would fit that a little better. Make it easier for me to... nothing wrong with those kind of webtoons, but like I said, with the art and stories being so similar, it does start to feel more manufactured, which is not really the feeling I'm looking for when I'm reading webcomics. Yeah, that's true. I love talking about the purple in Butterscotch's design because the only other character with purple in the main cast is literally the captain because of his hair, making him the one she's tied to. I hadn't noticed. They're so different, like in terms of hue. Like his is more like a blue, a darker bluish type of a purple, like a cool colored purple from what little I've seen, whereas hers is this like bright, almost pink kind of purple. So I hadn't connected them in my head, but that's interesting. Oh shit, I'm doing this on the wrong thing. Okay. I need to do it on this layer. If I had done that whole thing by painting this white literally on top of the green that I had only done to make sure that it was all full, that would have been really frustrating. I think I'm probably going to do white on the zippers too, just for now. I'll make them look a little bit more like silver when I do the shading and lighting. It's little tiny corners like this that need the special attention paid to them. Of course, I also just could be misremembering the captain's hair. It's possible that it's like the exact same color and I just didn't notice. That is more than possible. Why am I doing this with my mouse? What's wrong with me? Sometimes I just get into the habit of using my mouse for like some things and then I just don't pick my pen back up, and that's a habit I need to get out of because that will really fuck up my hands. I need to take care of these babies. My livelihood depends on them. That's good. I think that's okay here. This is all looking pretty nice. Pretty filled in already. Okay. I'm not gonna need to do that again. I don't think. And like everything else, I'm gonna do the eyes next. It's definitely a darker hue than Butterscotch's purple, but it's just a darker shade of Butterscotch's purple. Okay. I don't know why my eyes tricked me out, making me think it was a little bit on the cooler side. Do I have the right one? Okay. now I think everything else on her design is black. So I'm going to color pick the same kind of more muted black that the darker gray that I did on everybody else. Now to just start filling it all in. And this is going to be the one where I have to do the most cleanup. Whoop. Oh, wait. Why did that happen? Okay. Can confirm black is generally the hardest color to paint bucket in most programs. Yep. Especially if you've put it on a whole lot of like these kind of like fur jagged lines, that makes it difficult too. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit of a see-through opacity thing here so that I can really look into it and make sure that all the lines are very well done. So let's see here. But maybe I need a little darker so that I can make sure that the outsides are not spilling over too much. That might work. Now it's just going to be a lot of this careful lining for just a little tiny bit here. And then I'm going to do the patterns last of all. Uh-oh, we got something going on over here that's not supposed to be happening. Oh, wait. I almost color picked the lighter shade. Alright, let's take care of this. That's looking pretty good. Now up here. Let's close some of that up in here. Got a little bit of spillage in that little corner. Now we got her hair. A bit of face under here. I'm very excited to see how you're going to shade when you get to that point. Yep, it's since I'm actually really glad that I'm going to do the whole thing last, because I'm learning new ways of doing it, and it's taking me a while to get it all down. I'm learning it on my own art, so then I can, when I come to do it on your art, I'll be able to just know how to do it and do it right, and not waste time on it, and not waste everybody else's time and make them come and watch me struggle with something that I can't do very well. So yeah, I'm definitely still in the learning process on the new way that I'm doing shading and lighting these days. The old way that I did it, I was never able to make my art look the way that I wanted to. I was only able to make it look good enough. And I did like the effect sometimes. I liked the effects that I was able to get done on it, but it never was the way that I wanted it. It was just the way that I could do it. Um, I'm already seeing vast improvements with this new way that I learned on a YouTube tutorial video. It's so much easier, so much better. It's getting me the results that I've wanted the entire time I've been drawing. Um, so I'm excited about it, but it is taking me a long time to get it all get it all down and figure it all out. Um, but yeah, by the time I do the lighting and shading, which is going to be the very last thing, something once I'm done next week, I'm going to be doing Danny, and he's the last of the light art and flat colors to do. And once I'm done with Danny, the next week I think I'm going to do the background, and then after that I'm going to do the lighting. And the reason I'm going to do the background first is because the background is going to affect the way that the lighting hits the characters. So having the background down already is going to make it easier for me to figure out what I want to do with the characters and where the lighting is supposed to go. Oh, shit. I did almost forget the patch. Whoops. Alright. Alright. Sharp on 3 is probably a good line weight. Is that a good line weight? Okay, yeah. Alright. Not sure if that's going to be the right shape of it that I want. No. It's not supposed to be a perfect circle just because it's going to be sitting on her chest differently. Okay, so that's a good position, I think. So now I'm going to do it more carefully because it's supposed to be a round pin. And that needs to be nice and smooth. And I don't know if my hands are steady enough for that right now. Nope, nope, nope. But the curvature tool does not really do circles very well. And I don't want to use the circle tool because that's too perfect of a circle. Alright, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. If the circle is too perfect, then it just looks weird. Alright. And then it is a half moon. But it looks like it's on just a tiny little bit crooked. So let's see if I can do this nice and... So it's just a little, it's a little bit like sitting on her, just a tiny little bit crooked. Alright. Now back to coloring. And then I'll do the pattern, which is going to be the last thing I'm doing here today. Okay. There we go. I can't believe I almost forgot that when we had that whole conversation about it and everything. Alright, so the way that I'm going to do the pattern is, first of all, I'm just going to just make a pattern by itself on a brand new layer. So I'm gonna start by doing some of these these square things. Let's see here. To kind of just doing this at random. Let's make that one nice and small. All right, that's enough of those. The pattern I use is a preset texture on my art program, so replicating it is much easier for me and my process than I imagine it would be for others. Yeah, that makes sense. The preset texture, that's a pretty good preset texture. I am glad that I am not going to be drawing this character over and over again without a preset texture. I am doing one illustration of this character is more than enough for me. Although I'm realizing I color picked from a shadow area, this purple, and not a lighter area. Oh well. I will just make it a little bit lighter once I'm done picking all the colors. I mean, for doing all the purples. So it looks like there's a few purple circles in here as well, so. Since circles don't need to be rotated, I don't have to worry about doing the same thing that I did with like copy and pasting all these squares. Now some purple triangles, which are a little bit trickier because there's not a triangle option. So I will have to make my own triangle, and then I will just have to do the whole square rotating thing again. I'll make this one a little bigger and put it farther down like that. Actually, you know what? I want that one to be pointing the other way. All right. Oh, whoops, wrong one. And now, I don't see any purple hexagons, so that's good. I'm gonna call that there. Now I'm going to do some of these mint green ones, mint green things. Okay. Actually, first I'm seeing at least some of these squares are just lines and not actually fully square things. So I'm just going to do a couple of these. One more. All right. I think I need to move her to the top layer because I'm starting to have a hard time seeing the pattern underneath the one I'm making. Oh, come on, why didn't you drag? There we go, that's better. Alright, so I'm going to do some of these mint green ones. Actually, first, before I do that, I'm going to merge all of these down. Nope. Went too far. Where are the rest of these? This is oddly satisfying to watch. I'm glad you enjoy it. So now I'm going to just make these a little bit lighter because I had color picked from the shadow angle. Yeah, that's a good. All right. So now I'm going to color pick from over here where there's light and find the green here. Okay. So it looks like there's not as much green, but there is still a little bit of green. So I'm going to do some of these triangles, circles, and maybe a line or two this time. So I'll start with another triangle. Okay. I'm probably just going to do maybe 3 of these. I don't want to put it right next to that triangle. I'll put it over here by the circle. And then I'm going to do some more of these squares. I think. Again, I don't want to just put it right next to some of these other squares. And maybe we'll do for the next one. No, I'm not on polygon. A filled in square. Oh, you know what? I need to save. My program has been crashing sometimes lately, so I all of a sudden realized I have not saved once, and if I lost my program, I would die. Now I think I'm just going to do a couple of straight line ones. Maybe that's too many. Let's do one in here, one over here, and one down here. I think that's looking good. Now for the blue things here. All right. Sorry, just take a drink of my coffee. All right, starting with some of the circles, maybe just a couple of small little circles here. Something needs to be red in here. Oh, that one's fat. There we go. Let's do one more right here. Make this one a little bigger. Now let's do some squares. But now we're going to do couple of fancier squares. So let's make this one a little bigger. I'm going to put it right in here. I'll go like that. Now I'm going to make a new layer. Where's my snap tool? I hope this works, what I'm trying to do here. No, I don't think it's not doing what I want it to do. I don't think I can have a snap on while I'm doing this. Okay, so I won't make a new layer. I'm just going to go onto this one. And I'm going to, setting my thing as transparent. That line is too thick. It doesn't need to be perfect because this is just going to be a warped pattern. But I had noticed that some of them were just lines. So I'm just going to do that like this. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just got to be a little bit weird. So I got that one. But now I'm going to try to do an octagon over here. Proportions are not my strong suit on this. This looks bad. Oh shit, and I did that on transparent instead of real, so it didn't even do anything. I can't believe you're actually doing your best to replicate the pattern as closely as possible. I didn't think you would be so careful with it. I'm a perfectionist. I'm careful with everything, and it's to my great detriment. That is an ugly ass octagon, but you know what? I do not care. I'm just going to live with it. So I'm going to copy that one. First thing I'm going to do is I am going to make lines through it. Probably at a pattern, an angle like this. So that's not quite right. That's good for this one. I'm probably going to actually transform this just a little bit because I realized I drew the lines on the same plane as the square. Alright. So now I'm going to move this one. This is going to be over here. I'm going to shape this a little differently. Shape this a little bit better. And then one more over in here. That's good, I think. And then I want one more. Well, let me pull this up. I don't think I want another octagon. Oh, I want a bigger circle, maybe? Yeah. That's what it was. I remember now. So actually, I'm going to move this octagon over here. And then I'm going to make a circle, new layer, right in here. Oh, I'm still on transparent. Shit. Right in there like that. Okay, now, all right. First, I'm going to take this circle, I'm going to copy it, paste it, select opacity, contract by 3, delete, darken, move, right about there. And the circle one had lines, so I'm going to Maybe on 2. Oh, no, I'm not in the right color because I had darkened. I had a special rule of making sure that one big circle and one big hexagon in the pattern were always visible because I liked how it looked. That makes sense. Because they do look really cool. Alright. And now for one of these hexagons, let's do this one. Create selection from opacity, contract by 3. Oh, wait, I didn't do this right. Deselect first. Copy, paste. There we go. Now create selection from opacity, contract by 3. Delete. Darken. Oh, where am I? There we go. Move. Maybe that looks good. Yeah. All right. That's already looking pretty good. I think that's all I'm going to do on that. So now, let me make sure that, what is this? This is just an empty blank layer. Okay. Okay. Wait. Okay, good. I thought I might have deleted a line art somewhere. I was like, no, wait. Bring that back. Okay. So I'm just going to copy this. And then I'm going to, over her color thing, I'm going to paste it. Clipping. And then I'm going to size it down and just start doing it piece by piece. I'm not going to worry too much about making sure that I have everything like the exact same that it is on the thing. Right now I'm just focused on the sleeve. I'm going to put the circle on her sleeve. I'm going to just kind of warp this to make it all look like it's actually sort of shaped onto her arm. Give it a little bit of curvature here. It's very subtle, but I think that it's worth it. It just makes it look a little bit like less exact. This is supposed to be clipping. Why is, oh, it's not clipping. There we go. So that's one sleeve. Where did I leave that pattern? I need to pull you back down here so that I have easier access to you. So copy and paste. Move it down here, clipping. Now I'm gonna do the chest piece here. So I think on the chest I want the octagon here. I gotta find the right amount of stuff to put onto this thing. Okay, that looks good. So now I'm going to just kind of snip around like this. want to get this corner of the square in here. And then I kind of want this triangle, if I can manage to squeeze that in. I'm losing the circle, but I don't care. That's fine. Alright. I'm going to merge that with the one below. I think I'm going to focus on the square here that I did on this thing. Actually, let's go a little further than that. I want this square in here too, at least partially. I know this is all looking really wonky, but it's a process. I'll get there. Can't wait for everyone in the Butterscotch server to see this one. I'm sure they'll be impressed with you hand replicating the pattern. They'd better be. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. With this one, I am going to. I know that that's a weird thing to say. That this specifically is a lot of fun, but no, doing things like making patterns and colors and all that sort of thing, it's always been fun for me. So I'm gonna put that there and merge that down, and then the one last leg. I think this one might probably just be some shape thing going on. I don't know. I'll start by just making a little smaller so that I can pick the right shapes that I want. Kind of to see how they all flow. Maybe let's do something. Oh, wait. Let's do something here. These ones. I think one of my neighbors is outside just like talking, but it's all very like mumbly and everything, which is once again just making me think of Severance. I'm fucking obsessed. I don't understand what's wrong with me, but I just need more Severance in my life. I need some more stuff in here. Here's the thing, is that all of this is all well and good, but at the same time, it's just not quite what I want it to be. I need a little more color, a little more stuff. So I'm just going to start hand selecting some of these shapes. Let's see here. What else do I want? Let's get this thing in here. Let's put it right down here. And then I need something more in here. Oh, whoops. Let's get one of these line things in here. let's put it right here, but I think I want it to be a little smaller actually. And let's kind of change the thing so that it's not like perpendicular with this square thing going on. Alright, and then I want a little more something up in here. I don't have anything green up there. Let's pick something green. Let's put that there, and then I don't have any squares. Let's get a square up in this bitch. Not that I'm referring to Butterscotch as a bitch, but the drawing is definitely one. Actually, you know what? I don't want that one. I want this one. And this one goes right up here. Perfect. So now I'm going to merge all of this down. Wait, I need to make sure that that's one of the shapes. Yes, it is. Okay, I couldn't quite see it. And now to just erase it wherever it doesn't belong. So carefully looking at it all. Actually, it'd probably be more helpful if I did it like this. That way I can just make sure that I see what everything is and I don't accidentally miss one. Oh, what am I? Oh yeah, no, that doesn't go there. What am I thinking? And then I'm just doing it again so that I can make sure that I get everything and I don't accidentally have little bits of it missing somewhere, like right here. Okay, and merged. So there we have it. Now Butterscotch is done. So I'm going to erase her from this because Danny is the last one. And I'm just going to do his hand when I get there. All right. And delete the pattern. What is this? What are you looking at? What is this? Oh yeah, that's the fake one before the line. Gotcha. So I need to merge these down. All right. And release, rotate. And there she is. I think she turned out really well. I feel like I accidentally made her tails a little too small, but you know what? I'll just pretend that they're like farther away behind her. All right, so that's that. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up now, but this is pretty good. I had a lot of fun with this, especially the pattern at the end. So the next time I do this, it's going to be for Ko-Fi subscribers and not just for anyone on my Discord. But do whatever, since you are the owner of the comic that's this is based on. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that you get access to it. I think it's kind of funny how Danny is framed in the middle of the drawing. See, I did that intentionally because I feel like he's kind of like, I know that she's like the it feels like he's the real protagonist, you know, kind of like how in the movie Coco, Miguel is the protagonist, even though Coco is this sort of like catalyst figure, and then that sort of thing. Um, so I feel like even though Butterscotch is the one who has top billing, the story seems, from my perspective at least, the story seems more centered around Danny and Danny's uh, journey because of Butterscotch and because of how much he cares about her and what he's trying to do and help her and everything. And like obviously Milkshake is another, like they're all kind of protagonists, but I feel like he's just like the protagonist. So I kind of put him in the center on purpose so that he would be the center of the picture, if that makes sense. Oh, sorry, my phone's telling me that it's 4 p.m. Alright, so yeah, next week I'm going to be doing Danny, and then after that I'm going to do the background 1 week. And if I have time after the background is done, I might do the lighting and shading in the same session. But I love that analysis. Thank you. I'm going to go all out on the control panel when I do the background, so I don't think I'll be able to do the background and shading in the same session. So I'm going to do Danny next week, background the week after that, and then the week after that I'll do the lighting and shading and finish it all up. But yeah, I'm really liking how it's coming along so far. It's gonna be real fun. But I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, and I'll talk to you guys all later. Of course, I'm gonna post this in the both servers, the work in progress and everything. But until next time, I will see you guys around. Bye.